Hi,
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We're good. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you both
So,
of you for yeah.
first of all, how do we pronounce your name?
My name is Sai Chiran.
Okay. So, my name
Yeah.
is Ara, and this is my wife, Ellie.
Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
nice to
Hi,
meet you
how are
too.
you?
I'm great.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you both of you for accepting for my invitation and accepting to talk with me.
Sure, no
It's a
problems. We
pleasure.
want to share our information to help whoever we can.
Yeah. So I requested you yesterday, and I thought to tell my audience about the immigration process. How there are a lot of people who wants to visit and to become a permanent resident in Canada, and in which I'm one of those. I'm waiting for that. I took the ECA report, and it is waiting. I told you that, and I
Yes.
thought to tell everything about the present situation. And you are living in Canada, and you you want to share your experience to the world
Yeah.
about
Yes.
present situation and about the future too.
Yes. Yes. So, at the moment, we're not in Canada. We left Canada because of the
Okay.
situation. So the beginning of this year is when we first went to Canada, and we stayed there for the last 8, 9 months until a few weeks ago. Because the situation in Canada, especially with the visa situation and the immigration, is very difficult because they've stopped processing visas, or the processing time for the visas has become much longer than it normally takes. So, for a student visa, let's say, if you're applying for your student visa abroad, in your case, your country or any other country, a part of Canada, it may be, say, 90 days or 60 to 90 days. I mean, you have to go through the process where you give your biometrics, your fingerprints, you have to have your agent do the necessary paperwork and whatever. But whatever the time was going to be originally, it's almost double now. And the problem that we had is we were there in the beginning of the year when Corona just started. So we got there a week or 2 weeks before it went all over the world. Like, we didn't take it there, it was already there. It wasn't us that took it there, it was just there already. But so when we got there, everything started to close. All of the government offices, the immigration, the passport office, the fingerprint places, all of these places started to close. So then the difficulty that we had is that because I was already in Canada, I wasn't able to give biometrics because the biometrics place was closed. So that meant we were just left in a hole. We weren't able to give biometrics, and without fingerprints, they weren't able to process the application. Now, in some other countries in Europe, let's say, because we applied from Europe, so had we have still been in Europe, that may have been a different story. We were able to give our fingerprints at one of the places that they have, and then they would have sent those fingerprints on to Canada, and there would have been no problem. But even with those fingerprints, the process time is still 3 months, let's say.
Okay.
But this is after we were stuck for 6 months. So when they closed all of the immigration, there was no information. The
Okay.
website wasn't able to give processing times. When you rang the number for immigration, they weren't able to give any processing times. So there was just no information left to us. Now, my wife's situation was slightly different because she already obtained her visa.
Okay.
So sorry if I'm talking too much, but I'll just explain the situation. So, my wife started the application process. She obtained her student visa, and then through the student visa, I was able to get my visa because I'm her husband. So, as a spouse or legal partner, you're able to travel with your husband or wife and legally work in Canada. Um, The student visa was relatively quick, let's say the process, because there was no problems then. It was only until we landed in Canada that everything became difficult and extended. So I don't know if you have any questions so far.
Yeah, I got you. So you moved to Canada. You moved to Canada from.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Vancouver.
we were based in Cyprus. So I had my own company. I had my own maintenance company. I had my own vans, cars, I had tools. It was a very successful business. I sold all of that, all my cars, all the vans, everything to leave to go to Canada. And then it just collapsed. So because I didn't have a work visa, I was unable to work.
Okay.
Now, some of the people were saying that you can go to Canada and you can just work for cash, like,
Okay.
Which is illegal.
yeah, which is obviously illegal. I
Okay.
didn't really want to do that. I mean, if you know people in Canada and you have friends that you can work for, then it's not a problem because cash is cash. But we didn't know anyone. We didn't have any family, any friends, no one in Canada. We just went there,
Okay.
which was a risk, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the reason we went to Canada in the first place is because they speak English, and I wanted to go to a country where they were able, or the first language or the primary language was English.
Okay.
Because we could go somewhere in Europe, but the problem is that I would have to learn another language like German or Spanish or Italian, and I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to go somewhere straight away.
Okay.
So it was
Okay.
either Canada or Australia, and we
Okay.
chose Canada. It's just
Okay.
one of those things.
So you went to Canada in January 2020.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
we left. We went. It's quite a long flight. We left from Cyprus. We went from Cyprus to Turkey, from Turkey to Toronto, from Toronto to Vancouver, which was the end destination.
So how is the job opportunities in Vancouver?
So in Vancouver, there's plenty of work and plenty of jobs, but, and it's a big but, the cost of living in Vancouver is very high. So if you're going to rent a one-bedroom apartment, let's say, it's at least $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And that may not sound a lot, but the average wage or the minimum wage is $15 an hour. This is 15 Canadian dollars an hour. If you earn up to a certain amount, then you pay a small amount of tax. If you earn over 45 or $50,000, I think, then you start to pay more tax and more tax. But if you're looking for a student job, let's call it a student job. So if you're going to university and you're going to work somewhere like Walmart or Home Depot or any of the other Canadian places, definitely you will find work. Of that, there is no problems. But it's whether the money that you're going to be earning is going to cover the amount that you have to spend on, say, your rent, your food, your travel. Travel in Vancouver, if you're going to use the train, like they call it the Sky Train, if you're going to use that, then it's relatively cheap. I think it's $3.50 for a one-way ticket. So you're able to travel anywhere on that line for up to an hour. Or you can get a day pass, which is $10.50, and that takes you anywhere you need to go. If you're going to rent an apartment, it has to be next to one of those train lines, the Sky Line, if you're going to go to and from. There's no way that anyone that will be able to rent an apartment in the center of Vancouver because it's just way too expensive. The alternatives would be North Vancouver, Richmond, and Surrey, yeah,
Okay.
which are like
Most Indian, they are living in Surrey.
Yes. So
Okay.
Vancouver has a mixture of three main races, let's say. So you've got North Vancouver is like the Persians, the people from Iran. Then Richmond is like the Chinese sort of area. And then Surrey is the Asian Indian side of the map, let's say.
Okay.
So if, let's say, you're Chinese and you're going to Vancouver, then definitely you're going to Richmond. If you're Indian or Asian, then definitely you'll be going to this, like living in the Surrey section. And if you're Iranian or Persian, then you're in North Vancouver. Now, the reason that I say you'll be in those areas is because when you're renting an apartment, you need a reference and you need a previous job employment and reference. So for us, we had money in the bank. At that time, I had 20, 30,000 euro, which is like 40,000 Canadian dollars. And still,
Okay.
we found it very difficult to prove to the people that we were able to pay the rent. So in anywhere in Canada, well, at least in Vancouver, the normal rent procedure is you pay 1 month. Is it 1 month or half a month?
Half a month
Yeah.
as a deposit.
Yeah, half a month, and then 1 month is what you pay as a deposit, and you just continue from there. So if I move into your apartment in the first of today, let's say, then I give you 1 month's rent, let's say $1,000, and I give you $500 as a security deposit. And the other thing is that most of the time, the bills are included in your rent. So your electricity, water, and sometimes internet is included in the rent. But you may have to share the laundry with someone else. So you may have 3 people that live in a house, everyone's separate, but you all have to share a washing machine and a dryer. And
Okay.
even if you rent your own apartment, so you've got your own front door, your own 1-bedroom apartment, there'll be a washing machine on that floor that everyone will have to use.
Okay. So tell me about the types of visas.
So the different types of visas. If you're from a European country, then you're able, and you're from 21 to 38.
Under.
If you're in that age group, then you can apply for I forget the name of the visa now, but I forget the name, but it's a 2-year work visa, and you can just go straight to Canada and you can work in any job for 2 years. I forget the name of it. Then if you're on a student visa, you obviously have to prove that you have a certain amount of money for you to travel there. Some universities may ask you to pay the first semester's tuition up front. And depending on some countries that you're coming from, they may ask for a cash deposit to be put into the bank. So I'm not sure about the Chinese situation, whether they need to put a deposit, but I know for the Indians and the Asians, they have to put, I think it's 10,000 Canadian dollars into a bank as a deposit on top of paying their first month's tuition.
No, first year of your education at the university, you have to put 10,000 extra as a deposit in the government,
Right.
which they lock for you.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you leave, they give you back that $10,000. But
Okay.
some universities, if you start in the university and you've paid for your first year and you no longer want to go to that university, they won't give you a refund.
No.
That's one thing to bear in mind. And the second is it depends which university you go to, because there are a few universities that are unrecognized by Canada. And what I mean by that is when you get a student discount on travel or cinema or food or whatever, though the universities which are recognized by Canada or Vancouver, British Columbia, they will be listed on a website that show who is entitled to get discount and who isn't. So the university that my wife was studying at wasn't on that list. I mean, to be honest, we just wanted to find the cheapest and easiest way to go to Canada. And this was the solution that we found to going to Canada. I mean, they may have processed my work visa, but it would have taken longer. So the student visa was the quickest way. And because originally I'm British with a British passport, I would find it very easy to go to Canada and find work.
Okay, so that is what my next question is. How did you find the job? You said that you went with her with with the help of her. So how did you find the job once you entered into Canada?
So in the beginning, when I first went to Canada, I was looking at some jobs online. So I just Googled Canada jobs in Vancouver, and I saw a list of different websites that would show different types of jobs. So when we got to Canada and they were waiting to process my work visa, I started to upload my CV without a visa. I just started to look for work anyway to see what I could get. And they have a website which is called Indeed, Indeed.Canada. And that is like a, how could I describe it? It's like LinkedIn. I don't know if you know LinkedIn.
I know.
It's a platform where you upload your CV and you apply for jobs, and all you have to do is upload your CV once. You write a personal statement about yourself, and you can apply for jobs with just one click. So that's what I started to do. Okay. And the sector that I was going into was maintenance, construction, building, these kinds of work. Because another thing is if you go to Canada and you're going there on a work visa, the work visa doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll be given a permanent residence or a PR. You need to be working in a core sector of what Canada think is important for that year. So this year, let's say, always construction. So anything to do with construction, carpentry, woodwork, welding, concrete, cement, all of these are core structures. The hospital, like a nurse, doctor, physiotherapist, anything to do with that would be a core sector. Truck drivers, farmers, agricultural workers, mechanics for agricultural machines like tractors and combine harvesters and all these kinds of things. So every year, some of those core skills that they're looking for change. Sometimes they're looking for beauticians, like the people that do makeup and makeup artists. Sometimes they're looking for hairdressers, accountants, not really lawyers, but sometimes you see that they look for lawyers. So it really does change from year to year. But the standard trades would be construction and medical care, like doctors, nurses, those sort of things. Those are every year, they're looking for more and more workers. So with my particular case, what I wanted to do is find or use my maintenance background to get a job as a carpenter. Not making furniture, but making the frames for homes. Because in Europe, all of the houses are built with concrete and bricks and cement. But in Canada, 90% of the houses are wood. So they put a wooden frame structure and everything is wood, wooden windows, wood.
Yeah.
So to become a framer is what they call it, is a qualification or a trade that you will be able to get your PR or permanent residence, no problem. But you have to be working in that job for 2 years for you to qualify for your PR. So the problem that I was facing is that if they had given me my work permit, I had already not wasted, but I was unable to work for the 8 months. So I would only have 1 year and a few months worth of work experience until my visa ran out. So I wouldn't qualify for the PR. So the only way for me was to find a job offer where they would give me indefinite working contract for 2, 3, 5 years, or to extend my work visa, or to leave and come back and start again. So because I've already got a visa in Canada as a working visa, generally it's easy for me to reapply and get another work visa for the similar sort of trade because I've already had one. So we thought it was best to leave because we didn't know how long we were going to wait. And because rent is so expensive, it was the place we were staying in was $1,600 a month. So in 10 months, let's say that's $16,000 that you spend without earning any money. So it became difficult to sustain. And the other thing is that if you rent a property, there's no furniture, there's no chairs, there's no bed, there's no plates, no cups, nothing. You're getting just a room, a shell. So that's another expense. You have to buy everything. Like no towels, no nothing. Just a cooker, a microwave, not even a microwave. Some of them don't even have microwaves. Just a cooker and
maybe fridge.
Yeah, maybe a fridge. That's it.
Okay. So what about information technology, IT industry in Canada?
Right. Information technology is good and it's great. So anyone who's got a good use of computers in terms of cybersecurity is good because it's a developing market and everyone needs more security for their devices. So, I mean, this is from my point of view. So it may change. It may be different next year to this year, but I would imagine that lots of companies are using, obviously, computers. So they definitely need the IT to network the computers, connect the computers, find problems, develop software development. There are loads and loads of jobs relating to IT and the computer business industry. Social media, marketing, all of these sectors are large. But in terms of getting a PR with one of those jobs, let's say, is a question mark. I don't know. But if let's say there's no problem with PR, definitely anyone to do with any sort of IT qualification will have a job, no problem.
But don't forget the situation all of us now we are facing. The corona, it just smashed lots of companies in Canada. Basically, when we got to Canada, a lot of companies really they've been collapsed, and all of the shops, all of the malls, they didn't work it. That means the new student, when they go there, they are not facing with lots of job really, because everybody, even the people who already living in Canada, they are lost their job, they are locked down. Especially this time is worse than the 9 months ago when we've been there. I mean, when at the beginning we got to Canada, we didn't face with this kind of problem. Now definitely the situation now all of us we are facing, it does affect to all of the job, all of the students. As when we got there, a lot of students, they left Canada because of the situation. However, it was at the beginning of the corona, and no one thought the corona gonna be long term like that. But still, lots of students, they left and they back to their country, and that it was just is very important things. Everybody now, if they're gonna think about to move Canada, I personally think undoubtedly it's not good time to move. We have to just a bit wait. That's why now we prefer stay here. Even both of us, we've got the visa. We don't have problem about visa situation, but it doesn't make sense now back to Canada while Canadian they don't have job. What we're gonna face with really?
Yeah,
That
because
is the big question.
that's the other point. After 9 months of the application process, the visa, I've got my work visa. So I got my work visa, I think, 3 weeks ago. So all of that time I was unable to work, and now I've got the visa, but the visa is dated from today's date or 3 weeks ago. So it's 2 years starting from 2 weeks ago, which is not so bad, but you're unable to fly to Canada unless you are essential travel. So if you have family in Canada, or if you're a doctor or a nurse, or if you qualify for uh, special circumstances, you won't be able to fly there. So that makes it difficult. And I don't know how long they're going to keep the borders or the flight restrictions the way they are. But that makes it difficult, because if it takes 6 months to get back to normal, then my working visa is only valid for 1 year and 6 months. So it's tricky either way. If you're studying, it's a different situation, because let's say you can drag out the process where you could be studying for 2 years, and then you want to study more. You can extend your student visa for studying something else. So if I study IT for 2 years and then I want to study something else, as long as I have the money, then I'm able to do that.
And just some university, let's say when you study, you have first semester finish, like a Canada West, they are doing that. If they're a student, they go to the university and first semester finish, and still they want to go through to work just to have a part-time by 20 hours weekly, we are able to work, but they can't work if they're gonna stop to study. That means you have to pay, and you are not able to work if you're not gonna go to university, because the university stop your working time. They stop it, and you can't work without that. You have to pass 2 to 3 semester. But after they are allowed, if you're gonna stop your university to save some money, let's say, but after you can do that, you can work, no problem. Otherwise, you have problem. Which I think now a lot of other university, because of the problem corona situation, they are using the same strategy, let's say.
So what about express entry?
Express entry at the moment, I think, will only apply to people who are a doctor or a truck driver, because truck driving is very big. They need the goods to be shipped around. So if you've got medical supplies or food or whatever, then definitely truck driving, bus drivers, any kind of heavy goods vehicle drivers, that would qualify for express entry. The doctors and nurses, again, express entry. To do with construction, I don't know, because what we saw when we were there is that you're only allowed to have a certain amount of construction workers on the site at any one time. So if you've got a workforce of 1,000 people, you'll only really be able to have like 400 people there at any one time because of social distancing, because you're working so close to the next person. So express entry, I would imagine, would only apply to doctors, nurses, drivers, pilots, like those sorts of industries. I don't think IT would be in express entry. It may be, but I don't think so. Not at this time, anyway.
So you entered to Canada when in the beginning of Corona, COVID.
Yes.
So
Just
what was
before.
what was the situation before this pandemic?
So the situation before was very relaxed. It was very open and free to do whatever you wanted. There was no restrictions, no problems. It was like it hadn't started yet. So when we left Europe, Europe was already starting to check for sickness, for temperature. They wanted to know who you were sitting next to, what your flight plans were. But when we arrived in Toronto and in Vancouver airport, there was no checks. So they were very relaxed about the situation. It's only until they started having daily rates of over 1,000, 2,000 people every day is when they started to take it more serious. But by that time, it was already too late. So it already spread. During the pandemic, in the beginning, they were very relaxed about masks. So even with you didn't have to wear a mask if you're going to go into the shop or the shopping center or whatever. It was only until the middle of summer, I would say, when they started to say, okay, you need to wear your masks. So even on the underground, you didn't have to wear a mask. On the bus, you didn't have to wear a mask. But in the summertime, August, September, then they said you have to start wearing masks if you want to use the underground and if you want to use the buses. But by that time, really, it was too late. So people still in the parks were free. People in restaurants, people in bars, there was no real problems. I mean, they started to close the bars, the restaurants, and all of those types of things. But by then it was too late, really. It had already spread. But one interesting thing I will say is about Yukon. Canada is doing a pilot program where they're giving visas to people with little or no money, no real qualifications, no money in the bank, nothing. But you have to go to Yukon and live and work there for 2 years before you're able to get your permanent residence, your PR. And Yukon is it's one of the northern states of Canada. So British Columbia, Vancouver, if you look on the map straight up towards the North Pole, then you'll see Yukon, which is like snow, it's cold, it's like a freezer. But you can go there for 2 years and you'll get your PR. You need to have 2 or 3 job offers from Yukon first for any kind of job, like any job. It could be McDonald's, it could be cutting down trees, it could be driving Uber, I don't know, any kind of job. As long as you've got 3 offers, they'll give you, specifically Yukon will give you a working visa. But it's only limited to Yukon for those first 2 years. But that's one way of getting into Canada, which is cheap and cheerful, like we say.
So tell me about the possibility for the people who wants to come to Canada and have plans to come to Canada from now.
Right. I would say now would probably be the worst time to ever go to Canada, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that it's going to be difficult. That's all. If you've got the visa already and you're traveling to Canada with your visa in your hand, then that's a different story because you will be able to find work. You will find work, even if it's basic work, even if it is I'm just going to use McDonald's as an example. The minimum wage in Canada, Vancouver specifically, is $15 an hour. So whatever job you get, it's not going to be less than $15 an hour. I mean, you're going to have to pay tax, which none of us can get out of, but you can guarantee that you will be $15 an hour. And depending on what field you start to work in, you can definitely grow in Canada. It's not the kind of place that will keep you in the same job in the same place for years and years and years. Sorry, one moment. My phone's ringing. If you want to grow and you want to develop yourself and you want to make a new life for yourself, then Canada is a place that is full of opportunities.
But it's difficult. It's very hard. Very hard. It's not easy life at all.
Yes.
You can't enjoy as much as you want if you wish.
Okay.
Yes, the first 2 years of going to Canada is going to be very difficult. I mean, everyone said that to us. The first year is going to be the hardest year, but because of the pandemic, it made it even worse. So if there were no pandemic and I were able to work straight away, it would have made life a lot easier. We would have been able to buy a car. We would have had a lot more freedom and flexibility. But because we weren't able to do that and we didn't know how long we were going to stay, we didn't want to buy a car. We didn't want to buy a TV and invest or do more of an investment than what we had to.
So
But
how is your
if,
how
I
is
was
your
just going to
life
say,
right now?
our life in Europe is a
Amazing.
100 times better than it is in Canada. It's 100 times better. I mean, we really were looking forward to going to Canada. We really were full of energy. We had money in the bank. We had qualifications. We had everything that we needed to make a new life for ourselves in Canada. But it's just the way it is. Sometimes you're just unlucky. And we were unlucky in that situation, especially in the corona. If there was no corona, we would still be in Canada now. We'd be having this discussion actually in Canada.
So what about
To
what? Yeah, I have a question. What about the people who have no experience and who have a good qualification and who wants to work in Canada right now?
So, if you've got no experience and you go to Canada, you will be able to find work. You can work in Home Depot, which is like a hardware store. You can work in Walmart, Save on Foods, any of the normal, let's say, 9 to 5 jobs, like just a boring job. Let's call it a boring job. If you've got qualifications, then you'll just grow faster. That's the only difference. You'll be getting paid more money and you will be making those connections that you need to develop your career. But 2 years in Home Depot, it's possible that you can start as sweeping the floors, and in 2 years' time, you could be the manager or you could be the supervisor. If you're if you're the kind of person that wants to succeed and you want to move forward, you will become the manager. It's not like the people will just hold you down. They will let you grow. If they see potential in you and they see that you are able to grow, they will let you grow, no problem. Especially because one thing I noticed in Canada, let's say, is that the different races help themselves in different ways. So the Chinese people, definitely they help each other. So if you're Chinese and you're going to, let's say Richmond is the Chinese area, you're going to the Chinese area to rent an apartment or a basement. It's either an apartment or a basement that you're going to get. It's going to be one of those two things. That's just the only choice there is. If you end up in a basement, it means that the person is going to live above you. So they've got their house above and you live below. If they are Chinese and you are Chinese, no problem. They don't really care about reference. They don't really care about money and any of those things because you're from the same place or you're the same race. So they will help you. If you're Asian or Indian and you go to the Asian Indian area, again, no problem. They will help you. They're very help each other. I mean, the Persians are kind of like that, but not as much as the Chinese and the Asians. So if you're Asian and you're going to the Asian part of Vancouver, no problem. No problem. You will find someone who will speak the same language, who will come from the same area, at the same country, and they will help you. They will give you a job. They will show you what to do. They'll show you the best place to go and get a car or shopping or whatever it is. They will give you plenty of advice. So my advice would be anyone going to Canada, where whatever race you're from, is find your race there and grow with them to begin with, because they'll make your life so much easier to start with.
For us, it was so difficult to find the British. That's why we are stuck, because there is too much Indian and Chinese and Persian. For us, it was very difficult to find the actual British people to help to each other, to link to each other. That it was one of the biggest problems we faced.
Yeah, if you're going to Canada thinking it's going to be like big guys chopping down trees, and like the idea that you have of Canada, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's a great place. It's a great place to live. There's plenty of shops. There's plenty of places to go, bars, restaurants, parks, plenty of things to do, but it's very expensive. That's the only thing I would say.
So you was a businessman in your country, and you moved to Canada, and you wanted to do job. Why not business?
Yeah.
Yes. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to work for a company for the first year or 2 years to find out how they work as a company, because I know how companies work in Europe. So in my country where I am now, I know how to build a house or do tiles or repair or maintain or fix something, because I know what the European building standards are. But in Canada, it's different. They have different building materials. So they focus on wood. And with wood comes different problems and different techniques and different tools. So I wanted to work for a year to gain the experience of Canada, how the tax system works, how the work is, the hours, the insurance, all these kind of things. And then I was just going to set up my own company, no problem.
Okay,
at least
so
that was the idea.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just that was the idea. That was what we wanted to do.
So you said 90% of the houses are built with wood, and you have that. You don't have that experience before, and how you got hired, how you got job with that 10% of knowledge.
Well, because my overall knowledge is huge. I know about electrics, I know about plumbing, I know about the different stages after you build the wooden construction. So if you're going to build a house, the first thing you do is you make a concrete foundation. So I could get involved in the concrete foundation. Then the people come with their wooden skills and they build the frame. Then after that, they put tiles, they plaster, they paint, and they put electrics and plumbing. So I can do all of that. I can build out of wood. I mean, I've built garages, sheds, small verandas, coverings, but I've never built a whole house out of wood. So they have different types of wood joints, wood nails, wood screws. But because my experience was 8-9 years of construction, then there was no problem. They were more than happy to allow me to grow. So the jobs that I were applying for, it wasn't, let's say, a manager or a supervisor. It was going to be as a trainee. But the trainee wage was from $17 an hour to $25 an hour as a trainee. And then every year that goes by, the more you become qualified and the more you become paid. So it would go all the way up to $35 an hour or $40 an hour for a trained framer. Wood framer is what they call it. So that was the idea.
So can you say that what worked for you will work for everybody who is working in different industries like hospitality and IT? You know, like they have experience in the similar subject, and like they have 90%, 10% in the similar subject, but 90% not. But they have 90% of experience in some other similar field.
Yeah.
They try come and apply for a job and try job? Will they get a job there?
You can always try your luck, is what I say. You can always just try. If you find someone who is willing to help you and who believes in you, then you'll easily be able to grow. So if you find let's use a Chinese man as an example. So a Chinese man is going to go to Canada. He has some experience with IT and he's applying for a job in cybersecurity, let's say. If he finds a Chinese businessman who is looking for someone to develop his IT department, then that would be his initial way in. So he would start with similar qualifications and similar understanding of computers, networking, cybersecurity, installation, maintenance, and he will be able to learn and train while he is being paid on the job, like an apprenticeship. So there's more.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say there's more than enough opportunities to grow. If you feel that you are underqualified for a job, there's nothing to stop you applying for that job and just hoping for the best. Because in our experience, there was plenty of people in Canada that didn't know what they were doing. So they had a job, but they didn't really know what they were supposed to be doing. They were just lucky to get that job.
Okay. So, ma'am, you tell me how you got visa and what is the subject that you selected to study in Canada?
Sure. Basically, I applied through my lawyer, and my lawyer made decision about me because I did a study here, MBA, Master of MBA for specific for general management. And I was hoping to go to Canada and study for PhD. But by mistake of the lawyer did for me, she ignored my education for MBA, and she applied from my bachelor degree for get another MBA, which to me, it was really useless, and in Canada. And the university choose for me that it was wrong as well, because university, it was absolutely one of the worst university from my experience that people could go. And I've been there for a student visa, and I had my fingerprint, everything for me, it was okay. And of course, I was able to work there weekly, 20 hours each week. And but as soon as we got there and we are facing with the Corona situation, I didn't want to go to university because they told me I can just study online, which I made decision to change my subject because I wasn't happy to study again the same course, the same degree. But it was really nightmare for me. Finally, I had to end up to go to university after first semester. And I found it, the university, it was so lack of information. The base of the university, they said, is for assignment. But lectures there, it's huge different from the lecture in Europe. Okay. In Europe, when I study, the lecturer explained to you, 50% is for lecturer, 50% definitely for a student. The lecturer teach you, and you have to do assignment, you have to presentation, you have to get the mark, of course, as all a student. But in Canada, lecturer, they are not teaching you. Everything is pushed to a student, which really I personally, after first semester, I said, I'm not gonna continue for this university at any cost, because it just wastes time, and it wasn't just me. Basically, a lot of students, they wasn't happy there, and they found it is just, you know what, the university, if the base of university for profitable, you know what is they are looking. They are looking just for money, not for education. That's why, however, I pay for my first semester, but I wasn't happy, and I said, no, I'm not going to study that. But the process, by 1 year approximately, take time to all of the visa, everything. As soon as I applied to all of the course and we got to Canada, take approximately 1 year. And we've been to university, and I was hoping the education there could be a bit better, but I was very disappointed, to be quite honest.
So you completed your studies?
No, just after first semester, I found a specific this university. I wanted to, if I'm gonna again study for MBA, and if everything the same, I prefer a study for marketing. But when I go through to the process, I found it they are not let you study for the marketing a part of last semester, which is really in one semester what are gonna learn from marketing, digital, all of these things. It's not enough for one semester. Because in Europe, the course I had, MBA, it was 3 years. 1.5 years, you are study general MBA course, and 1.5 years is take your specific, your total course. You have to choose, you want to study financial, economy, strategy, management, marketing, which of them you choose. And 1.5 years, I selected what I'm gonna study, and 1.5 years study. But in Canada, a specific that university, it wasn't like that.
So, what about the people like me? I have completed masters in software engineering in India. So I wanted to do PhD in Canada. So is there any opportunity, and especially in Vancouver, if I wanted to do PhD?
I think the best way is, as I heard, and I was hoping happen for me as well. I heard just 1 year the course, total course you have to pass if you've got the master degree. 1 year you have to pass to like a prepare yourself for PhD. And after that, you are going through to the PhD course. And I was hoping that things happen for me. But I think the best thing is just research about the university you are going, because there is lots of the name of university, but there is not actual university. Like they say Canada West is university, and which really it is the name of the university, but you are facing with lots of like other university, they are not going to accept you even if you're gonna stop your course and going continue in another the same similar course and going to study another university. That university, they are not accept any credit you pass in Canada West. And that is the things you have to be is very concerned, because you waste time, you waste money, everything, and that's really important to me. I think is for a student. If you want to go for PhD, make sure definitely they allow you, because they have to translate the mark of your country, let's say your university, to their university, and if they accept that, you go through to that, but make sure they are doing that in the way you want it. Otherwise, just you have to pay. Basically, they charge you for first year. When you go there and you see lots of problems, it's better you speak with them about every details, and after apply and after pay.
Okay, so I have to talk only after pay.
Before you pay, I think the best things before you pay them, because now Canada really is, they are hungry for money. Imagine annually how many people they wanted to move to Canada, but now that door is kind of in 1 year, that door is closed. That's why I think a lot of university, they are welcoming a student because they are looking to get the money. And unfortunately, a lot of my classmates, which a lot of them, they've been from India and they pay a lot of money, but they wasn't happy. But make sure, you have to make sure really before you pay to them, make sure if you're gonna study for PhD, because basically, if I'm not mistaken, 1 year you have to study the course they say to you to allow you to go through to give your proposal and make sure about the proposal and go through to PhD.
Okay, sir. Sir, you tell me, what about the food and the climate? You know, you lived in a British country, and the climate and the food was different. And you moved to Canada, and how was that experience?
I thought originally that Canada was going to be cold, with scarves and hats and jackets and boots and snow and wind and rain. It was none of that. for the 8 months that we were there, I mean, I'm wearing this and I've got my shorts on, right? I was wearing exactly this in Canada. So shorts, t-shirt, sunglasses, hat, sunny, bright, beautiful, birds singing, green grass, beautiful trees. It really is beautiful. Lovely lakes and rivers. It's a lovely, lovely climate to be in.
But that is just for Vancouver.
It's just for Vancouver, yeah. Because that was the warmest place in Canada, and it really does have the 4 seasons. So you have winter, spring, summer, autumn, or the fall, as they call it. The climate there is excellent. You wouldn't believe that you're in Canada and you're walking in t-shirts. I mean, there were people who were in swimming costumes who were sunbathing in the parks and whatnot. So you really can enjoy the weather there. The food is much the same as it is in Europe. I was expecting more. I was expecting, if I ordered a steak or a burger, I wanted a burger that would be huge, like you would think in America, but it's small. It's just normal portions. They have international cuisines. So they have Asian restaurants, Indian takeaways, Chinese takeaways, Lebanese, falafels, shawarmas, everything. Anything you want to eat, you can eat. And they have this ridiculous thing, which I think is ridiculous. They call it poutine, which is chips with like a gravy over the top of the chips. I don't know where that came from, but we never tried it. But it just looked a bit ridiculous. But the shawarmas, the burgers, everything else is really delicious. It's nice. And shopping in Walmart, let's say, or Save On Foods, it's cheap and it's good. It's good quality. You can find everything that you need to in Walmart, which is like a superstore. Food, clothes, toiletries, aftershaves, bread, milk, donuts, sugar, all kinds of stuff. So it's if you want to be smart with your money, then definitely you can make your money go a long way if you buy food yourself and cook yourself, which is what we did.
So what about adaptability?
To go from Europe to Canada is very easy. Everything for me, because everything was in English and I understand how to use the buses, the trains, maps. I can speak to anyone and ask them any questions when I go into the bank. Any kind of language that they use to talk about identification or passport number or traveling this location, that location, to me was easy, no problems. And even if your English, let's say, is not very good, there will be someone of a similar race which you can talk to. For instance, I just keep using Richmond as an example because we stayed there for a while, the first month that we were in Canada. And if you're Chinese and you're in Richmond, no problem. Everything's written in Chinese. Everyone is Chinese. So anyone you ask if you need to go here, there, it's in Chinese, no problem. I'm not sure about Surrey because we never went to Surrey to know, only that I'm sure if we went to Surrey, there would be Indian and Asian shops. So any vegetables or fruits or beans or anything that you would have in your country that you may not find somewhere else, you will definitely find in Surrey. The same with the Chinese people. The Chinese people with types of fish or fruit, they will definitely find that in Richmond. The same as if you go to the north of Vancouver, where the Persians are, you'll find Persian food, which was amazing. Like one of the restaurants there was delicious. The Persian, I forget the name of it now, but it was lovely.
So what about the people? Are they friendly or what? You went there and you know nobody and you are new to that place and you have no connections there. So how you managed and how you developed the connections?
So if you are, I mean, for us personally, we found it very difficult to find friends. Not just, well, more because of the situation. Everyone was in their house. No one wanted to come out. Everyone's social distance. There's no pubs or clubs or bars, restaurants open for you to socialize with. But when you're going into the shops and you're speaking with someone, how much is this? Where do I find this? Very helpful, very friendly. So we met one guy in Walmart in particular because we were thinking about buying a TV. So my first question to the guy was, I said to him, "Hi, if I buy this TV and it doesn't work, can I bring it back?" That's all I said to him. And he said, "So what part of London are you from?" So from that, I knew he was from London and I'm from London. So straight away, we started to talk to each other. And he would tell me about where to go and buy cars, where to do this, where to do that. All this helpful information. So every time I would go into Walmart, I would go and say hello to this guy because he was very friendly. He was the only one really that I could say, or we could say, that was worth speaking to, because everyone else, they kind of keep themselves to themselves. So the house that we were renting, the owners were Chinese. Now, they were very friendly, but because they didn't speak much English. That's a perfect example. Every house in Vancouver is about $1 million, maybe 800,000 to $1 million. So these guys came over to Canada and they were able to work. They had a flower shop, so selling flowers, whatever, and they were able to buy this house that was worth $1 million. And none of them were able to speak English in the way that we could talk to each other. Everything was very broken. They were very friendly and they would always say, "Hello, how are you?" But that's it. There's no other conversation. Like, it was just, what I had to do was use Google Translate on my phone. So I would write what I wanted to say and then translate into Chinese, and then I'd show him the phone, and then he would write in Chinese and show me the phone. So that as an example to show you can go to Canada and not even speak English and still be able to somehow buy $1 million house. So this is the best example I could give.
So you're thankful for Google Translate?
Always. Google Translate and Google Maps, they're the two most important things that you would need in your life, like forever. Doesn't matter where you are, because we've traveled. We've been to Italy, we've been to Greece, we've been to Austria, and in all of these places we use Google Maps more than anything else, because Europe, everyone speaks English to a point, but when they give you an address, you need to know where you're going. So definitely Google Maps is just the only thing that you need.
So presently the Canada is under lockdown. So how much time it takes for Canada to become normal, and for Indians and all other country people to come and stay there and find jobs and study there?
In my opinion, another thing is it depends which country you're coming from. So as an example, in Europe, where we are, if you are from England or what's the other one? Switzerland? No, if you're England, Germany, and another country, you're not allowed to fly here easily. You have to get a test to show that you're negative, and then when you come to the country, you have to wait in quarantine for 14 days, and it's a bit difficult. So depending on what country you're from in the world, traveling to Canada, if the pandemic is a problem in your country, then it may be difficult to fly directly to that country without having a test. Well, I don't think you'll be able to fly without a test. And you definitely have to stay 14 days in quarantine. But I think, in my opinion, it would take at least 6 months to get everyone back to not how it used to be, but somewhere close where you're able to just fly to another country with no problems. I would think it would take about 6 months from now to go back to a normal-ish situation.
So obviously, it takes 8 months for a permanent resident for applying for PR. You know, it takes 8 months time for a person.
Okay, that is
Can
a
they
good.
can they apply now so that they can come in once the pandemic the situation becomes normal? Can they apply now?
That is there's a sideline statement that I want to say to that point, which is in your application process, the most important thing is the person that you use to make your application for you. The lawyer or the agent that you use is the most important decision about anything else. If you get a good lawyer or immigration agent who really does want to help you go to Canada, then it's worth every penny. But in a percentage, I would say 80% of immigration lawyers and immigration helpers or whatever are terrible. And all they want to do is just take the money. So you see a lot of adverts on Facebook, Instagram about companies who say, if you want to go to Canada, we can help you, we can sort your visa. Yeah. All of those,
Money.
I don't trust any of them. And when they speak to you and they say, so, like, for instance, one of the companies that we contacted inquiring about how we could get to Canada, the sales agent was very kind of pushy. And you're saying, this is what he would say. So, you want to go to Canada? Am I right? Am I right? And you definitely want to go quickly. Am I right? Am I right? So straight away, I knew that was rubbish. I knew that he wasn't going to be the kind of person that I wanted to use because he doesn't sound professional. Researching the person that you're going to use as your agent is, I can't say enough, is the most important thing in that whole process. It doesn't matter what qualifications, how much money you've got, what your background, none of that. If the agent is bad, it ruins everything for your possibilities in Canada.
The
So how to
actual
find?
experience happen is because of our lawyer. If our lawyer knows about my husband situation, country, everything, we wouldn't be in the situation now we are. Unfortunately, with the lack of information she and he had about my husband country, we came in this situation. Agent, lawyer is very important. And don't forget one important thing. When you go in Instagram, every single person, as soon as they got to Canada, after 6 months, they became blogger and they got too much information about Canada. And they said, if you want to come to Canada, easy, blah, blah, blah. They do too much advertise. That to me, it was very big warning. Why too much blogger there is specific about Canada. Don't trust these people. They are a people just, they take your money and you never, ever, ever see Canada.
So how to find a correct advocate or agent?
That is the very difficult question to answer. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone because I don't know anyone enough to say we would definitely use this person. In the case of our situation, the agent that we use, I don't really want to say their name now, but they could have been a lot better than they should have been. So they did do what they said they were going to do, but it just took them way too long. They were very unprofessional. They were very distant. I would ring them. They wouldn't answer the phone. I'd leave a message. They wouldn't ring me back. It got to the point where I would ring immigration myself to find out what's going on, because these immigration agents, you could be denied the visa in the application process and they won't say anything to you, but they would just try and reapply to try and get you the visa. And these are things that you need to know. So I wouldn't promote or advise on a specific company because I just don't know one that's good enough for me to recommend. I mean, as we're developing our story on Instagram specifically, we just want to share our experience so that other people don't really make the same mistakes that we made. because when you're listening to an agent who's telling you, yeah, it's no problem, I can definitely get you 100%, I can get you a visa, no problem, I get for everyone, definitely I can get for you. It's not always the case because they don't control what's happening. They could tell you 100%, and then when your visa doesn't come through, I don't know what happened. It's amazing. You're the only guy that you don't know. You don't know how many other people have failed to get the visa. And what they typically do is they only show the people who were successful in getting their visa. So if they made 100 applications and they only got 3 visas, they would show those 3 visas on their channel. I'd be like, wow, yeah, you know, you got your visa. And the guy would be like, oh, wow, it's amazing, yay. But he doesn't understand the other 97 people who are still waiting to get a visa that may never come.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So at last, do you have anything to say about to the people who are coming, who wants to come to, who wants to visit and be and live, do job in Canada? Do you have any tips and any kind of advice, suggestions?
Definitely. The first thing that I would say is that Canada is definitely a place where you can go and grow and make a future for yourself. No problems. You need to be careful about the people that you're using to take you to Canada. But if you find the right person and you're able to get to Canada, then you kind of have to stay within your own circle, let's say, your own racial circle, because they're the ones that are going to help you the most. An Indian man is not really going to help a Chinese man. A Chinese man is not really going to help an English man. An English man is not going to help a Persian man. And a Persian man is not going to help an Indian man. It's just the way it goes. But because there are so many of each different race, there's more than enough people to find your own help, your own helpful race. If you're looking for construction, there's Indian construction. If you're looking for Chinese, there's Chinese construction. If you're looking for IT or medical or research or anything, there is definitely going to be someone of your similar race that is going to help you without a doubt. Make sure that you have enough money because money's going to be tight when you get there. And don't trust everybody. That's another thing. There's some people that are going to pretend to help you and to look like they're your friend, but really they just want to see how much they can get out of you rather than how they can help you. But that's like any country, I guess.
Okay, so do you have connections in Vancouver?
I don't have connections to help anyone get a job. The only person I know is the person I rented my apartment from. So if you're Chinese and you want to live somewhere in New Westminster where we were living, then I can give you this lady's phone number. And if you want to work in a flower shop, that's about the best I can do. But other than that, I would go to Indeed.ca, which is the Canada working website. And in there, you'll find all types of different jobs, all categories. It shows you the pay. It shows you the contact details, the companies. That is the single most helpful website is Indeed.ca.
Is it important for a person to have the same field experience to work in that field?
Depending on what level you're at. So there's plenty of apprenticeship courses. If you want to start an apprenticeship in construction or mechanics or bus drivers or any of those things, you will be able to start that job at the bottom. If you've got some experience, then you may be able to skip a few levels and get in at a higher position than a lower one, let's say. But whatever skills you've got, whether you're full of skills or you've got none at all, you will be able to grow in Canada and you will be able to find a job where you can progress and move up. Because everyone there does. Everyone in Canada starts at the bottom and they work their way up.
So what about
owners?
Yeah.
Like the place that we were staying, our owners, our neighbors, all of the people that would come and see them, even with our own eyes, we could see that they all started with nothing and they're all living in £1 million houses. it's not easy. I don't want to say you can go there and it's just a few years you'll be able to buy £1 million house, $1 million house, but you will be able to substantially improve your life. The life that you're living in, let's say India or China or any other country, you will grow much faster in Canada than in your home country. It's not going to be easy, but the more English you can speak and the more skills that you have, the faster you'll grow. But even if you go there without speaking English and with no skills, you will be able to grow.
So what about internships? Can a person do internship there?
Oh yeah. So an internship is very similar to an apprenticeship. They call it an apprenticeship, but internship, apprenticeship, it's all kind of the same thing. You go to that company, you work there from the beginning. I mean, look, the company I worked in Europe was the same thing. When I first got a job in this company, I was cleaning gardens, I was cleaning rubbish, I was cleaning the pools. I moved up to do gardenings. Then I moved up to become pool maintenance, where I knew how to operate the pumps and repair them. And then I moved on to the construction, so plastering, tiling, painting, wallpapering, roofing, felting. It took 8 years, but I started at the bottom sweeping gardens, and I worked all the way up to be the director of that company. So I was one of the directors. There were 2 of us, and we ran the company together. I didn't know anything about construction then, but 8 years later, I know a lot. I don't say I know everything, but I know a lot.
So internship, can I apply internship from here and go there? Can I apply job from India online and give interview and can get a job and can do internship from here?
So if you're, depending on what would they be called? Depending on what what part of Canada that you're applying for. So Vancouver may be a bit difficult to get an internship from India or China, let's say, but for the other ones, because you've got British Columbia, you've got Alberta, you've got Saskatchewan, I can never say that name, you've got Toronto, and you've got Yukon. Those are like the main ones. There's a few others, but they're kind of the main ones. Toronto is going to be difficult because it's the biggest city, and that's where all of the high-paid, high-skilled people are going to go. And then the further away you get from there is the more countryside-ish it gets. So Alberta and Saskatchewan, if you're looking for oil and gas, construction, these kinds of things, that's definitely a place that will be easier to get into than Vancouver and Toronto. I would say those would be the difficult places to get into because there is so much competition. Yukon, Alberta, and Saskatchewan would be the easiest to get into, but there's less there. So it's colder, it's less shops, less restaurants, less of everything. Toronto and Vancouver are the main places, so they're going to be the hardest to get into. But for sure, you can apply online and you can look for jobs, especially using Indeed and another one. I forget the name of the other one, but you will be able to find these things. So it's a great place to research any kind of works. And even if you get to Canada, let's say, or you get to Vancouver, a lot of people use Craigslist for renting, buying, selling. Craigslist is like, I don't know how quite to describe it. It's a list, or I wouldn't know how to. It's like Facebook, let's say, as a platform where you can advertise goods and services for sale. So I'm selling my car, I'm selling my house, I'm selling my Christmas tree and my phone. Everything goes on Craigslist. They look for jobs. And another thing that I noticed when I was in Vancouver looking for work is Amazon, I forget the name. I forget a lot of the names because we're just having a conversation, but I'm going to post some of these names and websites and links in my Instagram channel once I remember them, because I can't remember them now. But Amazon, for instance, you use your own, it's like Uber or Uber Eats. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a takeaway service.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. So Amazon are doing the same thing as Uber, where you work for Amazon delivering packages and parcels. You can set your own hours, you can work as long as you want, and it's a good way to make money. And I think that's $15 an hour as well. $15 or $17. So even if you've got, DoorDash is another one. DoorDash is another one, food delivery. So even if you don't have any qualifications, if you're able to buy a car, you can start work tomorrow, let's say, just doing delivery, where you're able to make money and work your own hours. So yeah, it's a city, so you've definitely got opportunities. I mean, the more that I remember, the more things I remember, I'll put them on the channel. I'll post them, like the websites, the links to the Amazon, all these different things. Then maybe, I don't know, I'll tag you or you tag me or whatever, so everyone's got access to those links, because they're useful links. And maybe your followers will have more use out of the links than I did, but I'll put them up there, like Craigslist, the Amazon thing, the foodie, all the different things that I've got.
I'll share all the links that, and I'll also share the Instagram link of yours in the description of this video. So can I put this video on my YouTube channel, on social media and on internet with your permission?
Sure. Any questions? Look, any questions any of your followers have, like, they can ask you, you can forward it to us, they can ask us, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever questions they have, we will try to answer the questions and give. I mean, look, at the end of all of this, there's no money for us to make by trying to make money off any kind of followers. The idea is to just show and share our experience and try to help anyone that's going to Canada succeed and make a future for themselves, because there's so many traps that you can get stuck in if you don't know which way to go, let's say.
Definitely, this is useful for a lot of people, since you have shared a lot of information, you have answered a lot of questions at the same time. Your experience definitely, at least who it helps at least 10 or 20 people. I think that there is going to be a big thing. You're going to change their life, the way they live in Canada.
I hope ma'am, so. Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah. So, ma'am, you didn't
help. If we can help people change their life, then that's all we want. That to us, that's worth more than anything. Yeah. Because no one helps each other now. No one helps each other. Nowadays, everyone just wants money. I mean, we help everyone and no one helps us. But it's just the way it is.
Do you believe in karma theory?
Oh, definitely. If you do something to help someone, someone's going to help you, but it's how long it takes. You could help someone now and you won't get that help for 10 years. But when it comes, it comes. It's like that. So definitely we believe in karma.
But this is social media, it reaches to a lot of people. It may help, maybe tomorrow and the next hour, maybe, I don't know. So just being positive.
That's all you can be. Yeah, it's be positive. That's it. And that is actually my blood group. My blood type is B positive. So
be positive.
It's useless information, but whatever. It's B positive.
Ma'am, you didn't give me permission to. Can I put this video on YouTube and on social media on internet with your permission?
Definitely, sure. We're glad to, if we can help to anybody to use this information. Definitely, we're gonna be so happy. No problem at all.
So you both have you seen any previous videos on of mine on YouTube?
Of you, no. To be honest, not yet. But now that we've met you and we've spoken to you, definitely we're going to start to investigate more, well, not investigate, but we're interested about you, because originally we know that you're interested in design and like a design background. So I actually went to university and I studied computer animation and film and media studies. So it's a big difference to building houses for real than building houses on a computer, because I studied 3D computer animation. So I know how to do computer architectural designs and all these kinds of things for both film and construction industry.
Okay.
And I was hoping to go maybe to develop that skill while I was in Canada a bit further, because I still make 3D models and I still make small films, and more as a hobby than as a profession.
Okay. If you have time, go and please watch it when you have time, because I do videos with all the country people and who are working in different professions and sharing their experiences and telling about what they know, and I'm sure you will like it. Yeah, this is the second video. Yeah, this is the second video of mine today. In the morning, I did a video with a medical practitioner and a army officer.
Excellent.
The second one. Yeah.
Okay, that makes us feel a bit. We should have watched those before, so we could have made ours better than everyone else. Now it's like a competition.
No,
we're gonna watch
is...
those. Like, wow, those guys are so interesting, and we were just talking about.
I don't want anything to be prepared. You know, I want it to be raw. I want it to be as you feel what you want to say. You know, I want it to be original, so that people, you know, the people who watches it, you know, they definitely think that this is not prepared, and the people who are talking in the video are just telling from the bottom of their heart what they felt.
Yeah. Well, look, if you go to Canada, you and anyone like you is going to do very well, because you look professional, you look pleasant, you look positive, you look like I would give you a job. I'll definitely give you a job. Whether it's in construction, IT, whatever, I'd give you a job 100%. And anyone like you, if they look like you, they've got jobs as well, no problem.
Thank you, sir. I want that to happen, and I will remember you, and I will put you in my mind when I come to Vancouver.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely stay in contact anyway. I'll follow you. You follow us, and we'll follow each other.
Yeah, definitely, sir. I will tag you and I'll share the information to everybody. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for giving me for giving me your valuable time and giving me valuable suggestions to the world.
Thank you. You are full of potential. You are definitely gonna do big things. I can see it, definitely. So thank you from us as well.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Good luck, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah.